Your wearable is good at some things, and hilariously bad at others. And if you don't learn the difference, you'll spend your life arguing with a wrist computer like it's your toxic ex. Here's the truth. Wearables are best at measuring simple signals they directly sense, and worst at guessing layered physiology with black box algorithms. So today we're doing a wearable reality check. What's reliable, what's noisy, what's useful only as a trend, and what should be treated like a suggestion, not a sentence. By the end, you'll have a simple trust hierarchy. You'll know what to pay attention to, what to ignore, and how to stop letting one weird night ruin your confidence. And yes, I'll explain why your watch can be accurate about heart rate, then immediately become delusional about your sleep stages like it's trying to write fan fiction about your REM. Let's start with the one rule that makes this whole episode make sense. The more a metric is raw, the more it's usually trustworthy. The more a metric is inferred, the more it's model-dependent and error-prone. Heart rate is raw. Sleep stages are inferred. Readiness is basically a smoothie made from your data plus vibes. So here's the longevity compass wearable trust stack. Most trustworthy, resting and overnight heart rate, and sleep timing, duration trends. Middle bucket, HRV, but only when measured consistently at rest or during sleep. Lower bucket, sleep stage charts. And the lowest bucket is VO₂ max estimates as an absolute number. Then there's the mystery box bucket. Stress scores, body battery, readiness, recovery, strain, useful sometimes, but not literal truth. Now let's go metric by metric, starting with the easiest win. Heart rate. If you want one wearable metric you can trust most days, it's resting and overnight heart rate. That's because your device is doing something fairly simple, detecting pulse signals and timing them. But the second you add motion, the signal gets messier. Sweat, bouncing wrists, poor contact, cold hands, and high-intensity intervals can all degrade accuracy. So here's your rule. Trust wrist heart rate most at rest, during steady easy cardio, and overnight. If you care about precision during intervals, sprints, or high motion training, use a chest strap. That's not you being extra. That's you being accurate. Now sleep. Your wearable is usually pretty good at detecting that you were asleep and estimating total sleep time, especially across multiple nights. This is where most people get distracted by the wrong thing. They obsess over deep sleep minutes instead of noticing their bedtime has drifted 1 hour later every week. If you want the highest value sleep metrics from a wearable, track these. Bedtime, wake time, total sleep time, and sleep consistency across the week. Those 4 things are boring. And boring is where longevity lives. Now the spicy part, sleep stages. Deep sleep, REM, and light sleep are real, but your wearable is not measuring brain waves like a sleep lab. Sleep stages are the most guessed thing your wearable gives you. Different devices use different sensors, different algorithms, and they can disagree on the same night. So here's the safe way to use sleep stages. Use them for patterns, not for judgment. If your REM tends to drop after alcohol, late meals, or scrolling until 1 AM, that pattern is useful. If one random Tuesday says you got 41 minutes of deep sleep, that is not a medical diagnosis. That's a Tuesday. Also, wearables often mistake quiet wakefulness for sleep. So they may overestimate sleep efficiency and underestimate how much you were awake at night. Which means the best way to interpret sleep is not one night's stage chart, it's multi-night trends in total sleep time and schedule consistency. Now HRV. This is the metric that turns rational adults into nervous gamblers. HRV can be useful, but it has rules. It's best used as a within-person trend, measured the same way, with the same device, under consistent conditions. HRV is influenced by basically everything. sleep, illness, alcohol, stress, training load, hydration, caffeine, nicotine, and even your breathing rate. So do not compare your HRV to your friend's HRV. That's like comparing two people's gas mileage when one drives downhill with a tailwind. Instead, use HRV like this. Look at a 7-day or 14-day trend line, not a single morning number. And don't interpret HRV alone. Use the cluster rule, HRV plus resting heart rate plus how you feel. If HRV dips for one night but resting heart rate is normal and you feel fine, that's probably noise. Travel, stress, a tough workout, or even a weird sleep position can do that. If HRV is down, resting heart rate is up, your sleep was short, and you feel run down, that's meaningful. That's a recovery debt signal, not a push harder signal. So what do you do with that signal? You reduce intensity, prioritize sleep, cut alcohol for a few days, hydrate, and return to baseline. Now VO₂ max estimates. This is the number your wearable loves to show off because it looks scientific. Here's the truth. Your wearable is not measuring oxygen consumption like a lab test. It's estimating VO₂ max using heart rate behavior, movement data, and models. That means it can be directionally useful, but it can be wrong as an absolute number, sometimes by a lot. So do not build your identity around wearable VO₂ max. Use it as a trend. If your VO₂ max drifts upward over months while you train consistently, that's a good sign. If it suddenly drops after travel, poor sleep, dehydration, heat, illness, or a different workout type, don't panic. Treat VO₂ estimates like a weather report. Useful for patterns, not a reason to cancel your life. Now the most addictive category, readiness and recovery scores. These numbers are designed to feel like one perfect answer, but they're often a black box blend of sleep, HR, HRV, movement, and proprietary weighting. And because there's no single gold standard for readiness, validation is harder and interpretation is less literal. So here's how to use these scores without becoming neurotic. Let them nudge your decisions, but don't let them override your common sense. If your readiness is low, but you slept well, feel great, and your training plan is sensible, you don't have to obey the number. And if your readiness is high, but you feel sick and your resting heart rate is elevated, don't let the number talk you into doing something dumb. Now let's give you the anti-neurotic rule that makes wearables actually helpful. If a metric changes for one night, note it. If it changes for 1 week, investigate it. If it changes for 1 month, act on it. That one rule prevents the two biggest wearable mistakes: overreacting to noise and ignoring real drift until it becomes a problem. Now, the fastest way to improve wearable accuracy is not buying a new device. It's measurement hygiene. Wear your device snug, especially at night. Loose wear creates junk data, and junk data creates stress. Wear it consistently in the same position. And clean the sensor occasionally, because lotion and skin oils can degrade signal quality. If you want better sleep metrics, focus less on stages and more on schedule. Same wake time, consistent bedtime window, and total time asleep across the week. If you want better HRV usefulness, focus on consistency. Same device, same context, trend lines, and the cluster rule with resting heart rate. If you want better VO₂ estimates, don't expect magic from random workouts. Most devices need consistent outdoor walking or running data to estimate cardio fitness more reliably. Here's the longevity compass bottom line. Wearables are best at answering, "Am I changing?" Not, "What is my exact truth tonight?" They're great at trend-based coaching. They're not great as a nightly judgment machine. So use your wearable like a compass, not a courtroom. Let it improve your inputs, sleep schedule, training consistency, steps, and recovery habits. Because those inputs drive the outcomes you actually care about. Energy, mood, metabolic health, fitness, and longevity. Quick safety note. Wearables are not diagnostic devices. If you have chest pain, fainting, persistent irregular rhythm alerts, severe insomnia, or suspected sleep apnea, talk to a clinician. Don't let a ring be your doctor. If this episode helped, hit like and subscribe. Check the description for tools and affiliate links that match today's episode, plus our Longevity Compass Amazon KDP book. And drop a comment with your wearable and the metric you trust the least. Because we already know it's probably sleep stages.